Happy Thursday, everyone. This is Jonathan with Cinco Squad. I'm a little under the weather, but I got my bros with me, Trey Day, Grandpa J, and Mike A. Fellas, how you doing this week?
Stupendous.
Stupendous.
Doing great. It is finally actually summer in the Great White North.
There you go.
Living a dream, as usual. Always living a dream.
Today
Yes,
is my
sir.
first many Wednesday afternoons off for the summer, and I'm loving this midweek break so far. I got to see my
Bravo.
nephew today. It's going to be a great start, a restart to the week. That's how it's going to feel every week. So, which gives
Nice,
us a good opportunity to get me at 100% every podcast. You ain't going to get me coming
Yes,
in
sir.
off the deck unfresh. We fresh, baby. Fresh.
You might come in off a swim, but that's separate. That's just getting you a workout. Yes, and finally, my Miami Heat headed back to the promised land.
Bravo to you as well.
I did not have faith. I'll be honest with you. No faith at all.
hope
I
you
told
did after
y'all.
the
Good job
first
done.
What?
After that 0 for 12 performance from outside in the first quarter, I hope you realize.
First quarter, I thought, okay, yeah, I said, okay, first quarter, I was like, okay, they're only up 5, okay, and then the way Tatum, it was just not taking control. And I think that's my biggest knock on Tatum, is that he just doesn't take control. Unlike the 76ers game 7, he just doesn't take control of the games.
But bro,
And-
any other scenario, he's leaving the court to get that ankle X-rayed or checked out. Any other scenario,
And that's where Jaylen Brown, and that's
But
where
that's
But that's why you have Jaylen Brown, who actually did have a pretty good game and had a really
he
good
did not.
series.
No, he did not.
Not a good
Brown
game,
He
sir.
did not.
He had 8
Not a good
turnovers
game,
in that
sir.
game. He was awful.
That's right, he did.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the game
Brown-
before.
It's almost like he intentionally.
Trust me, the last 4 games have all been a mess.
For me,
Remember, I watched the hairline White go and get the game winner in Miami, so that was heartbreaking. So, but how was y'all sports week, Trey?
I actually have a question.
What's
Since
up?
we're here, would you sacrifice your hairline to be a star NBA player, i.e., Derek White, LeBron James? Is it worth
Kevin
your
Durant.
Kevin Durant,
Kevin-
whatever that hair is he has? Would you sacrifice?
Patch.
It's not a hairline; he's got patches.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm losing my hair anyway, so yes,
So yes.
Would
absolutely.
I,
you're the only
would I
person there.
sacrifice my hairline for an NBA spot?
Be a star player in the NBA.
For you to be a star NBA player.
Yeah, I mean, I just shave it off.
Bro,
Okay, I have to ask Jay.
Like I just get rid of it. Like fuck it.
Bro,
Like
come on.
if you said I gotta push it back like Stephen
If I
A.
were Anthony Mason, I would shave these locks off and I'd put on the side of my head, kiss my hairy ass. I'm in the end.
Like fuck. Like I would just. I don't give. I know some of the guys like keep it back there, but I remember we were watching the game and I was like, I said, Malin, that where that guy's headband ends here
I got it.
is where the headband is.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where his
So-
hair is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where his
Bald is
hairline
beautiful.
starts.
Yeah.
But
Bald
I mean,
is beautiful.
it's terrible. It's terrible. I would just shave it, dude. Like
Yeah,
you look
no,
like
honestly, at that point.
you look like a chia pet.
Horrible. Horrible.
Chia.
Right. That's what I feel like they do. Well, but it's been a great week. We're winding down on our the sports year so far. I call it like
Yeah.
the first of the year for sports coming up in June because I feel like that's when all sports like restart except like
Yeah.
baseball. But we're coming to an end of it. We got the NBA finals, NHL finals starting here Thursday and Saturday. Going to be a great series between all 4 teams. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Hey,
Mikey,
hey,
Mike,
hey.
what's
Hey, put
What's
a little
wrong? What's wrong?
respect on the FA Cup finals too on Saturday, man.
Oh yes.
I didn't know that's where you come in and tell me that. I can't
So
put
we will
respect if I
now-
don't know.
We will now put respect on the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Who is in the FA Cup final, Jamie?
Well,
Yeah.
you might be asking, would you like me to save that for my bets of the week?
Oh, okay. Well, sure.
Little
But
teaser.
before we get that,
Yeah.
we got to find out what's in Mike's cup. So, Mikey, what's in your cup?
So today we actually do have a cup. We have ourselves a plastic glass full of a mixture of A&W root beer, predominantly, but with an added peanut butter whiskey.
Bro, we've gone back to that peanut butter whiskey biscuit.
Yeah, no, what
Peanut
the
butter
fuck,
whisk.
man?
I have a lifetime supply right
No,
now.
no,
So
I
if
don't-
you see me with this, maybe up at the episode 100, I might have.
I can't stand that. His drinks I would never drink ever. Ever.
That is shockingly good. Like that is.
We'll take your word for it, Mikey.
Yeah,
We'll take
you don't.
your
No,
word.
again, if you
Not
don't
all
like
three
sweet,
of us. It's not that you don't like sweet. You take sweet and you multiply it by 5 in everything you drink, and it's like sugar. It's like there's
Do you
this
have
much
it with more
sugar,
sugar?
that much alcohol. I'm waiting for that show. Mike, are you gonna ever have just a regular cocktail like a Manhattan or like anything like that? Can we try like 1 week where you just do like a regular cocktail?
I have
When?
a Moscow Mule. I've had it
You
like
did
twice.
have one?
Yeah, I've had it like twice.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But
Well, how
as
about
far
just
as,
a
like,
vodka
I'll try 'em-
cranberry or something, or a Hennessy and cranberry?
Yeah, well, I'll have a vodka cranberry, and this time I'll make it so that it's set 25%.
No,
vodka
mine are
and
the best.
75%.
Mine are the best.
Listen.
They're the strongest. Trey, when we were at the hotel this past week. I went to order a Henny and Cran, and I was like, "Oh, how much is like Hennessy?" It's like $17. I'm like, never mind. And like man looks at me. I'm like, I can get the bottle for $34. Yeah, for $30. Like I ain't gonna go one glass where they give me that much of the Hennessy. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good.
No bueno.
But I do want to have one big shout out on non-sports news to my wife, who has just made detective in less than her first year, not even on probation yet. So, very excited. We were so excited. It was the perfect ending to a birthday vacation. So, yeah, she will start here, and she starts on my birthday, June 12th. So, which is funny. when the lieutenant told her, she was like, "Oh shit, that's your birthday." But yeah, shout out to her.
Yes, that's awesome.
Jamie, what's
Yes, sir.
what's good with you? What's good with you on the bets of the week? Let's throw you on the big screen. Get you on the big screen.
All right, guys. So we know the season is coming to the end in terms of having a body of games to bet. We're down to the quality of the championship round in hockey and in basketball. So I got to go there this week, and I will start off with basketball. Kind of tired of hearing that fans wish for a better or it would have been better if at the end of the day, these have been the best two teams. That's why they're in the finals. And the Heat, by what people want to think, have been in the finals for 3 of the past 6 years representing the East. Nobody else has represented the East that many times in the past. In the past 10 years, they've been there a multitude of times, like well over 3 times. I think it's been 6 times. And then you have on the other side, you got Denver, who finally broke through. The franchise has been waiting for almost 50 years for that. So here's what I know. Miami's won every game won so far on the road, and it's been points. So I'm going to take the 8.5 with Miami and give me the over, because that 219 is going to be blown away in game number 1. These teams are going to come out peppering each other. The only thing I fear is if things get a little rough in the beginning and we see some early flagrant fouls, it might change the tone of the game and it might get a little more gritty than I imagined. But I'm anticipating lots of points. So give me the points. Give me the Heat 8.5. Then we take it to Vegas, and John and May have been there. Most exciting place to possibly go watch a hockey game right now. You have no real home fans. You just have people from all over the world that buy Vegas gear and have Golden Knights gear on and just cheer for Vegas and have a great time. Here's what's going on with Vegas hockey right now. There's been one game for the entire playoffs where they've had less than 5 goals scored. One game. So we know it's goals galore. Right now it's 5.5 in that game. On the opposite side with Florida, they've only played one game where they scored more than 5 goals since getting by Boston in round 1. Something has to give. Florida has to play Vegas' style of hockey. Give me the points in that game. Take the over. For sure, we're going to see at least 6 goals, and I'm taking Vegas to win that first game. So we got Vegas. We got the over. We got Miami at 8.5. We got the over. And then we go across the pond. Dreams are made up if you're a Manchester fan or any Manchester fan of that matter, because it's Manchester United versus Manchester City, the Manchester Derby for the FA Cup, one of the most prestigious cups in all of soccer. I call it football, throughout the entire world. And this is the beginning of Man City's quest for the treble. It's almost been a quarter century since a team from England, the British teams, have won the treble. That's when you win your league. You win your League Cup, which is the FA Cup, because every team plays in that, and you win the Champions League. Manchester City will be playing Inter Milan in the finals the week after. They already won the Premier League. They will beat Man United this weekend. Give me Man City to celebrate and hoist their second cup of the year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win yourself a bunch of money this week. Put it in the bank, baby. That's what I got.
Wait,
You only had 3.
Wait,
Right?
not so fast. I'm gonna put my Dikembe finger wave.
We got the
Put my Dikembe finger wave. Shout out to the Nuggets. I'm gonna put my Dikembe finger wave. I'm calling bluff on those points in that series.
Okay.
I got 5 on it. I'm gonna put it like that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jay. We'll do this off record. I got 5 on it on the points. I trust the Nuggets.
So you'll take the under?
I'm liking where that's at. Yep.
All right. So here. All right. So bets of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Take the points in the Denver-Miami game. Miami puts up points in game 1s, and so does Denver at home. I also love the 8.5 Miami is getting. They've won every game 1 on the road so far. Take those points as well. Then we go to the ice in Vegas. I love Vegas. Vegas, all they do is score goals. There's only been 1 game so far in the playoffs where they've scored less than 5 goals. Right now, that's 5.5. Florida's going to have to play their style of hockey. Take Vegas to win and take the over at 5.5. And finally, for the 5th bet, you got to go with Manchester City over Man United. They're on the quest for the treble. It's going to happen. Red Devil fans, you can boo me all you want. You're going down. Man City to cap off the beginning of their treble happened already. Part 2 comes on Saturday. Next week, part 3 against Inter Milan Champions League. You know I'll be taking that bet next week too. Put it in the bank.
All right, that's Jamie's bets of the week. Lock them in. You'll have till Thursday, and I think Sunday is the next game for the Heat and the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow night or tonight is the game that you guys want to lock in first. Ironically, the game that we went and saw in Vegas, Malin and I, was Vegas against the Panthers.
Nice.
Wow. Panthers won that game. So
you're psychic.
That was our.
So basically, you're trying to say deja vu is going to come around again.
I don't know. I mean, the way Bobrovsky's playing, it's going to be tough. I mean, he's playing really Bobrovsky. Bob. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great series. The soccer one, Man City one, that sounds. They're always in the championship game. It seems like, right? Like
Man City's being one of the best clubs in Europe,
like most dominant.
Their manager is one of the best managers in football, period. But he hasn't won the Champions League title with Man City yet. So he's been waiting for 6 years for that. He's had a lot of success at other clubs. He was at Barcelona and he was at Bayern Munich, and he won there almost immediately within his first 2 years before coming over to Man City. So Pep Guardiola.
We want to jump right into it. Would you rather be swept badly or blow a 3-0 lead? Jamie, I'm going to throw it down to you. What do you think?
I just think I'm one of the things that you get swept in a deep and everything, and if it's whether it's early or deep in the playoffs, if you get swept, it's almost like your team just took a huge step backwards. I think if you give up a 3-0 lead, your fan base is going to be absolutely heartbroken, a la my friends above. But I think you get over it, right? Because you have an opportunity to come back and know that like you are capable of getting right to the brink of moving on to the next round. You are good enough to compete to get to Game 7. It means that your team was in there for hopefully most of that series, unless Game 7 was an absolute debacle like what we saw in Boston the other night. So I would rather my team show a fight than to just put their gloves down and just get wiped off the floor or the ice or whatever it is, and basically just bow out of a season that seems like a total waste to get swept. So I hate to say it because it would break my heart if I was a fan of that team, but 3-0, I'll take that over being swept.
For me, it almost makes it like easier when they're down 3-0. Because for me, as a fan, I'm just watching the game to watch the game. So if I'm a fan of the team, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like if I was a Celtics fan, you're just watching those games. Like at any point, if the Heat have a good shooting game, boom, the series is over. So you have no expectations. So would I rather blow a 3-0 lead or be swept badly? I'd rather be swept badly. I would hate to blow a 3-0 lead. That's just something that's hard to come back from. And as a franchise, it's hard to come back from. I mean, I've seen it. Mike and I have been there on 0-4. We watched it. I watched every single pitch. every single swing, every single hit, all 9 innings.
Roberts.
Dave Roberts stolen base. I've watched it before, so it's tough. But at the end of the day, Boston was the best team in that playoffs. Moving on, so they deserve to win it. They deserved it, and hats off to them. But I know Mike's looking at
a particular soundbite that goes on the show this week that you actually.
I know Mike's looking at me like I don't have a hatred for Boston. That's my thing. I've never had a hatred for Boston because in my lifetime we beat them a bunch of times. But Mike can give me that look all he wants, but I don't have a hatred for Boston. Just like I don't have a hatred for Ohio State because anytime like Michigan's played Ohio State in the previous years, Michigan's got their ass kicked. So for me, like the games that mattered the most was Michigan State and Penn State, where we got our ass kicked, where we like those would be like the games that would ultimately lose us the season in a sense. So I'd rather just get swept, get it out of the way. Let me enjoy the rest of the playoffs and in that aspect. Trey, what about you?
Oh no, sweep me. I'm sorry. Just let's get it over with. I'm taking the sweep, and it depends on how the sweep happens. Just because you get swept don't mean you lay down. We got done with Game 3 of Boston. We thought the Celtics gave up. We were done with 3 games of the Lakers series. The Lakers were actually still competing. They were actually losing their games by less than 10
6 points, 3 points, 2 points.
They were losing close. So it wasn't they stopped fighting at a certain point. I think it's actually more detrimental to lose to 0-3. If I lose that, and I thought I had a shot at actually beating the team, it would actually defeat me more than if I go in there and say, you know what, like as a Lakers fan, I'm looking at like, hey, Denver was better. But I'd be damned if I got to go here and know I should have beat that team. I can live with losing to somebody that's better than me. But if we're losing a 3-0 lead, in my mind, I should have won that series. That's going to kill it more. That's where you're going to get more, to me, blame game between different players. That's where you're going to be more blow it up. And especially if you're a younger team. Younger teams get swept all the time. But nobody loses a 3-0 lead. That is
it's very rare.
That's very
super
rare. Sweeps happen all the time, and people figure out how to come back. I don't know the exact records. We'd have to look at the teams who lost the 3-0 lead and how it fared after that. But I would assume not too good. I mean, I guess y'all tell me how the Yankees were after the Red Sox. But I remember the Red Sox kind of, I just remember a whole bunch of like parades. And I remember Brady was Robert Kraft, and the other thing with the Red Sox. I saw Kurt Schilling, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to traumatize you guys. But the point is, sweep me. But what do you feel about that, Mr. Yankee Mike up there?
Why is that the example we always have to bring up?
It's the only one that it's the most iconic one. What are you talking about?
I understand that. I understand.
It's the only one. What other one do you know? Every other one is 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. We don't have other cases.
We don't have a 3-0 like it was. And not only that series was dominated. Like the first 3 games were like 8-0, and it was heated at that time. Right now, it's not that heated. Like the Red Sox and Yankees playing, it's heated because ESPN makes it a big deal, but it's not as big as it was back then, in my opinion.
LA San Diego is like a bigger.
But right, exactly. That's more heated in my opinion because the players was what makes it more heated, right? So, Mike, what you think?
Well, first of all, Jamie, no, as you can see, you don't just get over it. Second of all, I completely agree. Sweep me, because if you sweep me bad, like we weren't good enough. We weren't ready. But if we're up 3-0 and then we lose, it's right. It's what happened. It starts to be all these questions about we were good enough. We went up 3-0. We beat them in the first 3 games. Clearly, at least for those 3 games, we were the better team. Why couldn't we be the better team for one more? So I do think it does, like Trey said, open up a lot more of the blame game, because if you get swept badly, you get swept 4-0 badly, right? People say, what happened? We got beat. If you get, if you blow the 3-0 lead, it's harder to not say we let them beat us.
Right.
Because you had the series in the palm of your hands and you let it go. So I would rather be swept and just know that we weren't good enough that year.
But here's how I look at it, though, right? Both ways, the rhetoric afterwards is going to be, let's blow this thing up, right? You get swept. I mean, Milwaukee is a gentleman's sweep, right? You get swept or you had a gentleman's sweep, and I was like, we need to blow this thing up. Like, we're not good enough. We have to blow it up. Fire the general manager. Somebody needs to walk. Get rid of the head coach. We need a third star. Like the panic sets in faster. I think when you blow that 3-0 lead, I think it becomes a lot more of an introspection of a lot of different things in a meticulous manner. It's not the instant knee-jerk reaction. Somebody needs to go right now, and it has to be headlines, and we have to justify that it was somebody's fault that we got swept. I think with 3-0, you blow that lead. Yes, it's historic, and unfortunately, you're on the wrong side of history. But I really don't think it's okay, from a psyche standpoint, yes, it's detrimental to that roster because they're thinking, how the hell could we do this, right? And you probably hold on to that a lot longer than you hold on to a sweep. But it's weird how people look at that because as a fan, I'd be like, nah, I was good enough to go 7 games. If I'm not good enough to go 4 games, I should have no hope whatsoever that my team's going to compete next year. I really should. My team's not ready to win a championship, but if my team is game 7 in the conference finals, my team's ready to go back there and win a championship is what's going on in my mind. We just have to figure out how to close the series a lot sooner next year if we get back there.
Like for me, I don't think Boston wasn't less talented than Miami. I think Boston was equally talented and definitely had the talent to do so. The biggest thing with Boston, I think, was in the same thing that happened with the Heat. The role players played okay, but their stars didn't show up. And that was what happened. In Game 6, the Miami Heat role players, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, all 4 of those guys stepped up. They had over 65 points, I think it was, at the end of the game. Jimmy and Bam were the ones that were struggling. Even though Jimmy finished at 28, and everyone keeps saying, oh, he finished with 28, 8, and 10 or something like that.
Like 14 from the stripe.
That's that for me, like that happened at the end of the game when it counts the most, right? But he kind of like almost sealed the deal for them. And that's where you expect your stars to perform. So when it comes down to it, I don't know. I think a good question would be ultimately, is it more heartbreaking when you come back from a 3-0 lead to lose that game 7 after you're the one coming back? Is that more heartbreaking than to actually be swept?
At home? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, at home. Because everybody expects on the road, like you gave it your all. Game 6 at home was like how you kind of just manage your way back into it, and the home crowd really, built you up, and you could really think that was your Game 7, and then you have to let down on the road in Game 7. But for that to happen at home, I mean, it was sad. It was really sad with about 6.5 minutes to go to see fans in their seat like this. Like just looking up at the rafters, like seeing things have passed. Like we could have had another banner if we had played one more good game, or not even being down in this situation 3-0, and it's like hands on the head, like what the hell. So I felt it for the fans. At the same time, I didn't because Boston's been to the finals more than any other franchise. So it's not like the fans are that restricted of having that opportunity to cheer for their team to win a championship.
Yeah, but the first time being in a championship was since 2008 was last year.
Very true.
So you waited 14 years.
They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the past 4 years,
and have lost. Yeah, and then lost early years with LeBron and Wade and them with the Heat, and then had those years in between. So they've been good teams. They just I can understand as a fandomship like why you're upset because like you have the team to do so at the beginning of the year, and then it just kind of nosedives. Trey, I'm interested to hear your take on that. Because I know that you were kind of high on Boston in the beginning of the year to kind of make it back to the championship game. What are your thoughts on their team kind of like taking a dive at the end of the year, like they did?
I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, I said in the video earlier this week, right? Joe Mazzulla. I mean, I didn't see adjustments the whole time. I mean, they're out there, they're playing zone. You're not making any type of adjustments, making any type of alterations or anything. Honestly, I don't even put that much on Tatum. Once that ankle died, I started looking at Jaylen Brown because if you're going to be the other max player, I need to look at you, Jaylen. You got 8 turnovers, and you're playing like crap out there. So I got to look at him at that point. I just did not see adjustments. I don't expect him to outcoach Eric Spoelstra, but at the end of the day, they were getting laps ran around them. And this was said several times throughout the series. Every time they would go to break, what would we hear? Al Horford has the clipboard. Why isn't Al Horford the goddamn coach if he gonna have the clipboard? Al Horford ain't doing nothing in the game. Then put a suit on him, give him the clipboard, and put Mazzulla. Mazzulla's 33, 34 years old. Just sit his ass in the corner at a 3. Maybe they need to switch roles. So You know me, I'm a Lakers fan. I enjoy Boston losing that. But as a basketball fan and really liking and respecting Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I wish it would have worked out. I personally think maybe they need to blow that up. But the reason why is because this isn't the first. This might be the first time they lost 0-3, but they've been close before and not been able to finish this off. We keep having this. Last year, Draymond's out here punking them. And in this year, now you're out here with 7 or 8 undrafted players, whatever Miami has. You're basically playing with backups. They lost the backup. So actually, it was something John said earlier. You thought the talent was close. No, the talent is not close. Caleb Martin was cut by the Hornets. The Hornets suck. That dude couldn't even make the Hornets. And I'm not saying that he's not necessarily, a good player, but once you take out Tyler Hero and then you look at the rest of the roster, Kevin Love's Kyle Lowry didn't do anything. He's you got Jimmy Butler, he's gonna do what he does. Bam Adebayo had a very subpar at best series.
Yeah, very bad series. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, bro. Like I was pissed I was pissed the whole damn time because you know why? He is getting outmanned, and he is a man amongst men, and he should have been. He should have been dominating Al Horford, and that fucking shit pissed me off, bro. I was like, he needs to get in there.
Uninspiring series. Al Horford averaged 7 points and 6 rebounds a game, so Bam lucked out on the fact that Horford had one game where he scored more than he had one double-digit game, and that was 12 points.
And look who. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Horford had not been to the free throw line since March.
Yes.
Like, how do you go? It was March. They said it during the series. That man went to the free throw for the first time since March. When I'm hearing that, I am looking. Where's your toughness at? What happened to him?
Well, bless him, but they need to find a dominant big man to complement Tatum.
But that's the thing, right? Like I disagree with that because look what these teams do. They go look at the stat you said earlier, like 2 weeks ago. They shoot it 70 fucking times a game, and that frustrates me more than anything. Is you come down early in the shot clock, and they do it in college, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're shooting a three. I'm like, I understand you're open. But the worst time to take a three, like when Duncan Robinson caught that pass when he was all by himself, I said, drive it to the lane. Because you saw him double clutch. And I'm like, just drive it to the lane. Get the easy basket. Why is that such – and I wish I asked that last week to Chris Palmer because, like, why is that such out of the game of basketball now where you can't just go get the easy shot? Why can't you just go get the easy shot? What is wrong with that?
They're forced to play to analytics. I
understand that, but that's
actually against it could be, and that's why more for the European players. Imagine how frustrated they are, where they're told like, "Hey, you're playing the analytics," but they're like, "What the hell? I've been playing fundamental basketball for 19 years. What do you mean I'm playing analytics?" You know?
Right, and that's where I'm saying is like I just don't understand that, and that's the reason. Like, if your shot's not falling, it's not falling that night. Go to the post, get to the line. That's what I remember. And Jamie, as you and I talk about all the time, we love 90s basketball. That was 90s basketball. When the shot wasn't falling, you went to your big man, you started feeling that out. And then that started getting the team going a little bit more. You get to the free throw line, knock down the shot, get the feel for the shot from the mid-range. Like, for me, I never played basketball, only recreational. So it's like, if I'm saying this, why can't like an NBA star do this? And like, right, like they may look at this saying like, who does this scrub that never played basketball a day in his life? But if I'm Bam Adebayo, he needs to body Robert Williams. He needs to body Al Horford. He's bigger than them. He can jump higher. He can do as much. He's more athletic than them, and he can shoot better than both of them. So I was very disappointed in them. So sorry, that got me heated a little bit because I was pissed the whole fucking series at Bam Adebayo. Very disappointed.
That's legit too, because Game 6, Boston couldn't hit a three at all. So for them to feel like they had to force threes up themselves, like Miami really should have closed that series out in 6 easily. For them to feel like they had to shoot 4, 5, 6 unnecessary threes in the fourth when the game was close, the analytics is screwing up the common sense of the game. That's what it really is. Because if you just forget analytics at that moment, you look up and Boston's 8 for 34. They're like, it doesn't matter anymore. They're not a 3-point threat. Like, we don't have to shoot 3 for 3.
But that's why Spoelstra went to a 2-3 zone.
Yep.
That's why he went to the zone, because they weren't hitting. And I mean, Max Strus played a great game until the last 0.1 second in the game. He didn't box out. And where's that in the basketball? I know that's not our topic, but I mean, where's that in basketball? Where's boxed out anymore? Everything's a foul. Everything's a ticky tack. I like the new school basketball, but I don't like the referees and the
Can
officiating.
you imagine Kevin Garnett in this day and age? He'd have 4 fouls.
No,
right
he'd be out in the first fucking half. What do you mean? He'd be
Could you
gone in the
imagine-
first half.
Half of the bad boy,
Garnett was always throwing a ball on someone on the box.
half the bad boys Pistons would be terrible. Half
Could
of
you
them would
imagine
foul out.
Kobe? I mean, Trey, you can agree or disagree, but I remember Kobe always used to have that little chicken wing that he used to do with guys when he used to push them off and do the fadeaway shot. So I don't know how he would do it because they'd be like,
They
offensive foul.
They wouldn't call on Kobe. That's
Not
how it
Kobe.
was. No, they wouldn't call.
There's always the 5 players in the league that they ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna call on him. That's what LeBron was fouling the hell out of Jokic. That's why I said the Lakers should start paying LeBron on Jokic. LeBron slapping the hell out of him. Nobody's doing anything. That's just put him on them because they're not gonna call. They're not gonna foul LeBron out.
Mm-hmm.
So like
That's the key thing. That's the key thing in the next series for Bam is that's the guy he's going to be guarding is Nikola, or he's going to be guarding Eric Gordon, who is just as athletic and fast. And
So who's going to be on Jokic?
I mean, do you bring Kevin Love? Do you bring Kevin Love because Kevin Love's smaller? We don't really have another big guy.
No,
the other big guy's hurt.
Giannis Haslam.
Yeah.
No.
Put in Haslam.
Put in Haslam.
You know what's funny? They were shouting his name in the one blowout they had at home. They're like, put in Haslam. I think I read his lips correctly, but I think he said, I don't even have my jersey on. You don't even have his jersey on. As you can tell, have you ever seen him without his warm-up? No, but
No.
I don't think he even has his jersey or shorts on. He's just in warm-up.
Hell.
So at this point, he's on the roster, but he's not playing. So
right.
But yeah, I mean, that's a great topic that we just had here. It was, would you rather be sweat badly or blow a 3-0 lead? Let us know in the comments what you guys think. But moving on to another NBA topic that sparked some interest this week, as we have a couple, I guess, small market as it is in a basketball sense versus any of the other sports. But is it better for the NBA to have stars in smaller markets? Mike, what you think?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. No.
No. I think it 100% is because, listen, as the NBA, you're going to be able to market Boston. You're going to be able to market LA. You're going to be able to market New York. You know, these big.
Miami.
I honestly do consider Miami a bigger market team because of the city it's in. It's not hard to market these big, flashy cities, but Denver and your Denvers, your Minnesotas, Sacramento, Golden State for a long time. Now it's a little better, but it's because they had stars there. They're not as easy to just naturally market as locations for fans to go, the casual fan to go see a game. So having the added star to be like, hey, not only is this, we promise a good, arena, you're going to see a good game, it's going to be a good atmosphere, but you get to see Nikola Jokic, you get to see a 2-time MVP play. You get to see, or at Sacramento right now, you get to see some of the rising scrappy stars, Light the Beam, all that stuff that came along with them continuing to develop their stars. So yeah, it 100% helps because it gets those franchises off, or keeps them off the ground and in the mainstream NBA discussion, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely better. The Knicks are going to sell out regardless. If they put the 4 of us and Spike Lee out there, the Knicks are still going to sell out. And that's just the truth of the matter with them. So you don't need to have those guys there. But when you look at a Milwaukee Bucks, really since Ray Allen's been there, Glenn Robinson, who's really paid attention or cared about that franchise? I think one of the best things, whether people think or not, for the lottery was that when Biyama's going to end up in San Antonio, if he would have went to one of the big markets, I mean, he was going to sell there. But now at least San Antonio is going to matter. Who watched San Antonio last year? Nobody cared about the Spurs. The average NBA fan probably can't name 5 people who played the Spurs last year. But now they'll actually have a reason to put them on TV to actually market them better. When you look at even a team like the Cavs when LeBron got there, that changed that whole franchise. Yeah, LeBron would have been a big star on the Knicks, but LeBron was going to be a star regardless, especially in today's media with your TikTok, your YouTube, your Twitter. and all these ways to promote. You don't need to be in a big market to sell. They're going to put you on TV anyways. If anything was going to happen is the Knicks were going to sell out anyways, but now it's even more where you can mark up the price of the Knicks playing a Milwaukee Bucks because now you have a star there and you can do the same for vice versa. So, yeah, the small markets, the NBA desperately needs that. Denver's been completely irrelevant. If they win this finals, or even if they just have a good showing in this finals, having Jokic there and helping Jokic blow up in this way, that's the best thing that could happen to them. So I don't know why people make such a big deal about like. Now I know if any Knicks fans sees it, they'll get mad. But as far as I'm concerned, the Knicks don't never need to be good. When people talk about the NBA was better than the Knicks was good, I ain't never remember the Knicks being good most of my life. They've been in the NBA Finals one time, and I had perfectly enjoyed basketball without them being good. They got eliminated this year. Basketball moved on, and we kept watching. Because the truth is, Julius Randle and them, they made them bigger stars they're supposed to be because they were in New York. So they don't need to go get the biggest star to the New York Knicks. Even my Lakers, we don't need to have the biggest star. When they had D'Angelo Russell and Lonzo Ball in them, everybody made them stars. Look at Alex Caruso. People talk like that guy was like the second coming of like Jason Williams white chocolate or something when he was out there. Or even like, don't get me wrong, I love Austin Reeves, but the way people talk about Austin Reeves right now, you think he was Dwayne Wade just because he plays in the Lakers. So no, you don't throw anybody on those teams. They'll still sell.
What's comparative with Alex Caruso is that he did go to a big market team and a big market team in the NBA. And I think what plays into this factor is not so much the city, it's what it means in that city. So Denver, like I was saying in our group chat, is a top tier city in the country per capita. Like capital wise, it's a big city. It's got a lot of people there. You know, for hockey, it's popular for the Avalanche. You know, obviously a dominant NHL team.
Football.
You got the Broncos who are continuing, you know, to be a dominant presence there. They have their own radio station and everything there. So that city's big in that sense, but I think it means more in different sports right. So and especially these NBA cities that only have the NBA team there, like Charlotte, like I know Charlotte has OKC, Memphis, San Antonio. They only have those teams there, so it means a lot more for them to have that. And I think them being competitively good is beneficial. So yeah, I think having an NBA star there is beneficial, but I think just having the team there is beneficial for these cities because it creates jobs. It allows opportunities for, you know, attraction for tourism, you know, why people travel there, those type of things. So, I mean, no one would want to go to San Antonio other than, you know, or know more about San Antonio because they were dominant in the 2000s, 2010s. And, you know, we always saw the Riverwalk. Like that's everything. That's where they put every NBA finals is on the Riverwalk. And every time I heard about it, like someone would be like, it's really not that big of a river. It's like literally probably like 10 blocks, but that's about it. It's like really not that big, but you know, so I think with San Antonio, yeah, I think Wembanyama going there is going to help their, you know, franchise get back to where it used to be. So, Jamie?
So I'll bring up something that's probably supposed to be common sense when you really look at the landscape of basketball, but we don't really see it as common sense. And we brought this topic up last week on our show. It's what the lottery has set up. The lottery sets up these small market teams to have the best talent when we look at who's the pool of the potential next set of NBA MVPs, right? So the MVP of the league. So when we look at that landscape right now, we say the right now is between Embiid and Jokic, and then you throw another name in there, and it's probably Giannis, right? So that's the right now. Now Giannis is young enough to keep his name in there. He happened to belong to a small market team. Who knows? A lot of people talking New York. Some people are flirting Golden State. He might be gone. And that's the nature of the game. The nature of the game was you tease the fans of these small market teams with these superstar players. And we really kind of saw the first one really come alive in OKC, where they could have had a mini dynasty there had it not been for the Heat being the
selfishness
coming together, right? So right now, let's look at what that is. You have Zion, if he could ever stay healthy in New Orleans. You have Ja in Memphis. You have Giannis in Milwaukee. You're going to have Wemby in San Antonio. You have SGA and Chet Holmgren in OKC. And of those may be 5 of the smaller market teams in the NBA who have all potential high-level superstars that can at some point be in the MVP discussion. Will they keep them is the question that these small market teams always just have to face the heartbreak of, because they're gonna move on. But everybody knew LeBron was not gonna retire in Cleveland and play his whole career in Cleveland. Everybody knew that. Cleveland was heartbroken to think at some point we're gonna lose this guy, but he turned around not just basketball, he turned around the entire city of Cleveland to the point where we went back. Trey, you know it more than I know it. The value of downtown Cleveland doubled, didn't it? Once he came back to second, right? So that's the impact players can have on a small market. That's what makes a superstar so cool in the sense of, hey, I'm going to go or stay in this small market because, like you said, John, it doesn't enrich just what it can do for that particular team in itself that, hey, it's attracting people to the organization. It can attract people to the city because there's such a big ticket and it brings so much life into the city. So, the way I look at this is more of a perspective of it's common sense that the NBA set it up this way for these teams to be teased with these superstars. Now is the GM created enough, like Toronto did a 1-year deal, right? And they did that championship run. They had a miracle and brought in Kawhi. Can the teams be creative enough to mold something where you have that 3-year window like OKC had and bring a championship to a small market team?
So the biggest thing I noticed over the last few years that what these smaller market teams are doing more than the bigger market teams, are the outdoor patio where they set up a big screen for fans that can't get into the game, but they do this like they did it with Milwaukee on that boulevard that's right outside the stadium. They do it. I think at Golden State, and now Golden State's not a small market, right? Golden State's San Francisco, which is a huge market, right?
Yeah.
So, but you see it outside, and I think that's been more common as of late. What we saw with Milwaukee, we saw it we don't see it in these bigger cities like LA doesn't do it. Boston doesn't do it. And if they do, it's not as big, right? But you see it in hockey. Like Toronto's a pretty big city, but you see it outside hockey stadiums, Tampa, those stadiums. So I feel that being more of a presence. Those OKC days, we saw it outside the OKC, stadium. So those type of hype. So those different things, I think, definitely bring a factor. But having that player there, like, there'd be no reason why I would want to go to Edmonton, Canada, other than to go see Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, like, this goes outside the spectrum of NBA, but it's just in general, right? Like, why would I go to Seattle, Washington? Like, Seattle's a nice city, but there's not much, right? But now I would go there to go see Julio Rodriguez, right? Like, there's certain players that attract you to those cities. Like, the Angels obviously got lucky with Shohei and they're in Los Angeles and they have Shohei Ohtani. But I think it does play a huge factor in why you would go to that city, right? If we were all four of us going to do a guys trip, we were going to go to San Antonio. Like, it would have been like, all right, yeah, because it's cheap to get a ticket to the game, but there's not really a player on the team we want to go see, right? So, I think that plays a huge factor in why people go to these events and why the city, like you said, the smaller markets benefit. Like you and I saw MSG. It's right in the middle of Manhattan. It's right in the downtown. So it's going to get fandomship.
At Barclays Center, it's just like, bah. Like,
right there, right in the middle. I've been there twice. So
literally.
Let me throw a twist. On that question real quick. If Ja stays and gets his head right, is Memphis the most likely next small market team to win a championship?
No, I don't think
so. What are we calling like our other options? I guess.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I would say the 6 obvious ones right now would be Memphis, New Orleans, San Antonio, OKC, Sacramento, and Minnesota.
I would say Sacramento more than anything, and the only reason why Memphis, I would say them because they had a pretty much complete team. They're missing a few key parts, and they could have beat the Golden State Warriors this year. They should have beat them, right? So when I look at Memphis is and taking this lightly, it's a dumpster fire there. Like, we don't know what's there. You have Ja Morant, but we've proven that one guy can't win you a championship. Right. He's a key part of that, but he can't win you a championship. And having a guy like Dylan Brooks, who's not on the team, right, is going to be there. But other players that pretty much didn't do anything in the playoffs. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, I would put of that list. I would put Sacramento, San Antonio, and OKC above Memphis.
Okay.
Just because
Wow.
I
was going Memphis too, but I mean, that wasn't going.
I don't think so. No.
OKC and San Antonio were like bottom of the league, so that's weird.
Right, but the thing is that so the Spurs. I'm never going to doubt Pop with the Spurs, and he's getting what is supposed to be a generational talent. All things being equal, that's an attraction to bring in other players, and I kind of trust that they know what they're doing. OKC, I think Chet's going to actually end up being pretty good. They've already got SGA, so now they've already got one more potential star than Memphis does. On top of all the draft picks they have, all the young players they're developing. And then I agree with you with Sacramento where, yeah, they seem to now be only, a piece, 2-3 piece adjustments away maybe from being a real contender.
Trey?
Yeah, I just don't believe in the structure of Memphis. I actually think I would actually add another 3 or 4 teams even on top of your list to possibly put in there. I don't trust Minnesota's structure, so I wouldn't pick Minnesota.
Yeah, that's why I stayed away from Minnesota.
So I would take them out. San Antonio, I'm going to have to see it first. I'm not saying Wembanyama's not going to be good, but I need to see what else is with him before I can say that. I would say OKC because I like what the structure is. You have enough people under contract. I would definitely say Sacramento because they have enough young guns and they still have enough space to add another piece. But even on top of that, with other young markets, I would even look at, you didn't say it, but I would even look at like Cleveland. You still got 2 All-Stars in the backcourt. You got 2 All-Stars in the front court. That's a young team that I would possibly put above Memphis to do that. I even like a lot of what possible future maybe Orlando actually has because they're going to add more. You have the pending Rookie of the Year out there in Orlando, and then they're still going to add more pieces. I like some of the other pieces like Wagner and all those pieces that they got out there. So I even like their future, and they're still Orlando's what you would consider a small market, but they're a small market that attracts people. Never forget Orlando at one point almost had T-Mac. Tim Duncan almost left San Antonio, and Grant Hill. That thing almost happened there.
Yep.
Another underrated, quick one I would actually do, possibly would even be looking at a place like Detroit, where they're still going to have a high pick. Remember, I think everybody forgets about them because we didn't see Cade Cunningham this year. You still have Cade. I like what Ivy has. I like what the front court's going. So there's a lot of and with some of these teams, like I think Monty's a good builder. Monty Williams actually was just hired yesterday as the coach. He was hired to be the official coach of the Pistons. I think
that's a good hire.
He doesn't get you over the hill to win a championship, but I think he'll build them up within the next couple of years. I think Memphis is going to split in the next couple of years. So, yeah, I got 4 or 5 teams for sure that I would take.
So I agree with all you guys, and I think if Portland got the top pick with Wemby, Portland would be everybody's sexy pick this year. With him and Dame together, it'd be like that's everybody's sexy pick to do some damage in the playoffs. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I'm surprised you gave no love to New Orleans with your boy Brandon Ingram, to me, who is the most underrated player in the NBA in terms of how hungry he is to be an all-NBA first-team sort of caliber guy. If he could stay
Zion?
But
I don't trust Zion because I don't trust Zion. It's not about Ingram.
But I don't even think that team. I think that team can be successful without Zion. I think now they have to consider how they're going to move on and get. It'll be a risk for any team, but teams are going to be willing to take that risk and give up something big for him because they're going to think that's the chip that if he can get healthy, he can get us over the top. And I think 1 or 2 teams are going to be willing to bite on that. So I feel like, and I left out the Utah Jazz in this intentionally because we're not too sure what's going to go on that franchise, but we know Ainge is down there just collecting picks like he did in Boston, trying to figure out how the hell he's going to build a super roster at some point and who he's going to build it around. So, I kind of like New Orleans, whether Zion's healthy or not, based on what they already have in terms of chemistry. I just think too many players got injured too often where there's no continuity with a starting 5 there last year. So I'm interested to see if they can get something going because they were flirting real early. I mean, like first 34 games, they were flirting with a top 3 seed. And then Sacramento kind of proved to be that surprise team. So
if you're the GM, Jay, would you trade Zion like this offseason clause?
Yes, sir. Yeah, like I would try and get everything I could for him right now because I'm saying to myself, he's played less than half. He's played, 42% of the game since he's been in the league. I'm not going to trust that he can play over 42% for the rest of his career as he gets less athletic, less mobile. I'm putting that on somebody else's shoulders to say, you know what, you play your cards and see if you get the royal flush that we never got from him.
Well,
I'm disagreeing with that because I wouldn't trade Zion. Reason being is because few years ago we were saying this about Mr. MVP himself. remember, Joel Embiid didn't start playing full seasons until his third or fourth year.
Mhm.
And we were all at, what was the biggest talk? We got to trade him. Get rid of him. Go trade him. Go trade him. And then all of a sudden he started coming back slowly. Now I'm not saying Zion going to be that way, but it's only his third year.
Good comparisons.
So and he's a center and he's developing and he has a shot. Joel had to develop his shot, but he's a little bit smaller. He can be more of an athletic, and if he gets his weight down, I know we're worried about the injuries, but I wouldn't trade him right now. Not right now. Not third year in. Give me another year. Let me see what he can do. But if the 76ers were willing to hold on to Joel Embiid and all the problems that Joel had, remember, we didn't even know Joel was going to play basketball anymore. And they signed him to that extension. And so for someone like that, I don't know. I just can't see myself trading someone like that if he can get to that level again, in my opinion.
So you're the GM and the Warriors say Draymond, Wiggins, first round pick and future second round and first round picks. You're not going to take that?
If I'm the GM of the,
if you're the Pelicans
GM of New Orleans and Golden State goes Draymond, Wiggins, first round pick and a future first or second round pick for Zion, and you're not going to take it.
No.
Interesting.
No, that's no.
Mike,
you can shake your head. I mean, that's
100%. I'm taking that.
You're gonna take that, right?
No, because
100%.
Draymond's aging. Andrew Wiggins took a big decline this year,
but he played.
So and then now I'm banking on another first round pick that may not be. So I don't know,
right, but so here's my thing with Zion. Yes, Embiid 100% had those injury problems and then ended up being what is now an MVP. Except for Joel Embiid never had all of the apparent attitude issues that Zion does and the lack of desire to keep his weight down.
I don't know how much
Zion doesn't want to keep by all accounts, and again, I don't know, I'm not there. By all accounts, Zion has no interest in keeping his weight down.
I just don't know how much Zion loves the game, and that's
right.
So I would trade him. I don't know if I would do that trade, but I would make
that trade. Doesn't interest me because you got an aging Draymond, you got Andrew Wiggins who took a big decline this year, and we've seen this Andrew Wiggins before. It's been more consistent than not. The Andrew Wiggins of last year who won the championship with the Warriors, that was rare. We were like, damn, okay, contract year, good shit. Now this year we were like, where's that dude? He got paid. We said it all year. I would not take that trade at all. I need something that's going to secure me. I need something that's going to secure me.
The reason I'm not doing that trade, Jay, is because of what you said earlier. Some fool would take it. So we'll go back to how we started this. People want stars. I trade his ass to New York because if you call them, their stubborn asses will probably trade you Julius Randle and quickly in a pick for it versus there. So I'm doing a trade like that if I'm there. I think that was too low for what you would get for Zion. But if I'm New Orleans, I'm calling around and swinging for the fences now because I don't trust the Zion thing. And he gets hurt again, then he's going to have no value. So I'm trying
to say his value's only going down.
Not to mention, remember, Zion already got an extension. So he's about to go up. Right now, New Orleans ain't paying the squad. So I'm quickly getting him out here. But like I said, I'll probably call New York. Honestly, if I'm New York, I'm calling right now.
Shit. I'd call it.
Well, to Mike's point, I don't agree with that. With the whole weight, okay, so the weight comparison to Joel Embiid, okay, yeah, I get it. But Joel Embiid's 7'3", right? So comparing to Zion at 6'10", yes, I get it. But Zion's always been a big dude. He was 280 in his junior and senior year of high school. He was LeBron size. I understand he was thinner and stuff like that. He may not love the game. He may be more to Trey's point where he may not love the game. That has nothing to do with his weight. I don't think it has anything to do with his weight. I don't think it had plays. I think those are two separate factors. I think ultimately Joel Embiid, was hurt and he never even played. He couldn't play. He had foot injuries every single year. All right, 4 straight years out for the season. And they were like, oh, this is a bust. This is a Greg Oden all over again. And it's like, okay, so then all of a sudden he comes back. They gave him a chance. They stayed with him. They stayed with him. Zion, I agree with that. With the whole, I don't know if he loves basketball at this point because of the fact that I don't think it's a weight issue. I just think he just doesn't like the game, because it just doesn't seem like he's interested. He's falling asleep on the goddamn bench.
He likes to get.
He's falling asleep on the bench. But if you're 6'10", someone said, "I'm gonna pay you $40 million to go play basketball," shit, I'm gonna go do it. And I'm gonna, if I got a half-ass it to do it to get these contract extensions, I'm gonna do it. So I don't know. Like I just see it differently that way. I wouldn't trade him right now. If that is the case, I trade him, right? Like, but he's not gonna blatantly come out and say, I don't love basketball.
So time out for 1 second.
The Pelicans seem to
McCollum,
believe that.
Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins,
I've never heard
Ingram,
that.
And any point guard doesn't sound
Show
like
me
a pretty good starting five to you.
What's that?
I said Brandon Ingram, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, CJ McCollum, and anyone you would want to throw in there at point guard doesn't sound like an appealing starting five to you.
It sounds appealing, but I don't know if Draymond can get along with those. But I don't think you can get. I don't think you need. Like, I would not get Draymond at this point in his career. I mean, the last 3 seasons he's had attitude problems with his teammates, and it's proven, right? We saw it. The Warriors were doomed from the beginning of the year when he punched Poole in the face, right? So, I wouldn't take that. Andrew Wiggins has a high ceiling. We've seen him play at a high level. So, yeah, it does appeal me a little bit, but I think you get a lot more for that sole pick.
So you're saying when he punched Poole, it made a big splash? Padam ching. We're going to move on to that one.
Well, talking about a splash, this was something that kind of annoys me every single year. Is would you eliminate the conference championship trophy celebrations or not? Because I'll give my opinion in a minute. But I want to hear what you guys think first. So Jay, go for it.
I'll just say fuck yes on 3. I mean,
yeah.
It's weird.
Get rid of them. They're pointless, bro. Like they really are pointless.
Take it to the locker room.
Don't even do that shit. You know what I hate in baseball is the fucking champagne celebrations. Where they have these where they go into the locker room and they got the champagnes and they're jumping all around. I'm like, y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all moved on. Y'all survived. Why are we celebrating? Like everyone's giving Jimmy Butler right now shit because he just sat there like this the whole time. And it's like, okay, well, this is the same thing when the Lakers went up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. Kobe's like, what's there to be happy about? This job ain't done. It's a famous quote now. Everyone knows it, right? But it's the truth. The job ain't done. They still have a whole nother series. I hate the celebrations.
Bro, baseball players be celebrating regular season wins over like a Cy Young feature. Like it's a
bro, it's so dumb, man. I hate it. I hate it.
But baseball's already a contradictory sport because in one breath, if they celebrate too much, we get mad. So if I flip this bat, you get mad. But now I win the pennant, or even if I just win my division, we got a whole parade outside, and that's never made sense to me in baseball how they can get down that way. So that's why baseball, I think, is the most egregious because you can't in one breath be this old man sport. Even though I love baseball, you're an old man sport, but you're now, oh my God, he flipped the bat on the 5th game of the season, or oh, he flipped the bat to win the game. But then as soon as you want to go out here and win the AL East, now we got to go out here and have a 40-minute celebration. That shit is ridiculous.
Mike,
I think they're just celebrating getting to the end of the season because it's a goddamn long season.
but I think you're also trapped in the history of the game because if you won your pennant, did that mean you went on to the World Series or at least
for a long time,
right? So I think they're caught in the historic value of the idea of winning a pennant is you celebrate, you won your pennant, and it's the ultimate because you now have a chance to win a World Series. So I don't think it's moved on from that idea, which is strange, right? Because now we're deep into the playoffs where there's a wild card playoff game now. I mean, we're way past that. So it's weird.
Yeah, there's celebrations all the time. I don't know, like everyone, Tracy, yes, right? Jamie's yes, Mike, yes, no.
Half yes.
I'm okay. Yeah, Mike, yes. But good. Go ahead, Mike.
Half yes. I am completely down to get rid of the celebrations with the champagne and the confetti and the hats and all that. The trophy ceremonies for certain sports, well, that's a finals hat.
Yeah, but that's when they won, and I'm only wearing it because I can't find my other two. The championship hat.
But I'm saying, you get hats for everything now. You get hats for winning.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I pointed to it.
Yeah. So I'm down to get rid of all of that. The trophy ceremonies as like a matter of presentation, the fact that they have like Eastern Conference and Western Conference trophies, that's fine. I completely agree with Jimmy. Job's not done. I ain't touching it. I'll touch the next one. I like a 5-minute like, oh yeah, you're Eastern Conference champions, and then you move on. I'm fine with that, but yeah, I'm down to get rid of all like the confetti and pyro and t-shirts and hats and all. It's right. Job's not done. You don't get that till the finals. But like to be able to be like, oh, okay, Eastern Conference champions. All right, moving on.
I just think it's a waste of time, to be honest with you. Like, all right, cool.
You
like,
made the trophies. That's my only thing. You made the trophies.
Well, I don't know. Me personally, like, I guess that's my competitive nature in me. Like, if you lose the last game you play, like, did you have a successful season? I don't think so.
But here's why I think it's more meaningful, right? It's more meaningful to just let the game go, have the fans celebrate. The DJ goes crazy if it's a home game. If it's a road game, it's not, right? You go back to the locker room, you celebrate each other. And then do something at your home for it, right? Like after the fact. Like when the season's done, if that's how far you got, celebrate that. So celebrate winning the West or celebrate winning the East. Invite your fans. Free day at the arena, like face paint for kids, do all these fun activities,
autograph session, those type of shit.
Thank you so much. Thanks to our season ticket holders. Do something special. Make it a big PR marketing event. Bring in the community. Celebrate that way. Hey, we reached this far this year. Yay, go team. Like play it by ear and wait is why I say don't do it right away. And then if you end up winning the title, then you have the parade and then you make a big deal out of that, like as per norm, right? And how the normal celebrations are. I think that would be better for the teams to wait. Because then you get to celebrate being just this champion, or you get to really celebrate because you're the champion of champions.
Right.
But
yeah, I think go for it.
With that, Jay.
Yeah.
If say you're the Buffalo Bills in the '90s, you second one back. Even though I'm sick of this, you'll never celebrate because I guess that's my.
That is the best community event ever hosted because by year 4 you're fucking hosting the greatest event ever because you know how to put that event on.
Or you're hosting the emptiest event
or nobody shows up because they're pissed off to come back to the
right. So that's like the only, I guess, knock to that. But I'm with Mike a lot where I'm okay if you want to hand out a trophy. I just don't need all the extra champagne and pyrotech. It has to be somewhere where the championship celebration is different than the conference championship celebration. Because the thing is, they do hand out that champion that says Eastern Conference Finals appearance, whatever. But nobody, if the Heat go on to win the finals, everybody's gonna throw the Eastern Conference Championship hat out. And where the NBA Finals hat, nobody's gonna care about that. So it's like you're really just celebrating for a temporary thing. I mean, I don't know if you happen to have an Eastern Conference Finals hat from the way
it's on.
Years or not.
No, I don't. No, I have the championship hats. I just can't find them.
Eastern Conference Finals, like nobody cares about that in the long run. Because in the same breath of this, and I'll put this to basketball. What do people always say about LeBron? Oh my God, he lost an NBA Finals. So clearly, most of y'all don't give a damn because all y'all care about is 6 years of Jordan playing the finals. The other years of the NBA don't matter. So we can't, as fans, I guess, in one breath say Michael Jordan's great because he's 6 years, and then not talk about the other years. I guess. So which way are we going to play this?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I like the fact what hockey does. They do the handshake after between the players, like you did when you were kids. Like when you dap them up, those type of things. And at the end of that line, if the commission want to be there, be like, hey, here you go. You're the Western Conference. You're the Eastern Conference. You hold it up for the fans and you skate off or you run off the court. Like that's cool, right? But why we gotta sit here and have MVPs, right? Like MVP of the Eastern Conference. Jimmy don't want that. Jimmy wants the MVP of the NBA Finals. He like that's cool and all, but like they've been there, right? They've been there a couple times. He already got MVP of the Eastern Conference. I think back in 2020, or I think that was Bam. Maybe it was Bam.
No, they didn't do that yet. They didn't do that.
They didn't do it. They didn't do it yet.
Just started the MVP thing recently.
Oh, okay. But I don't like that either. I don't like that either because it's like how many MVPs are we gonna give someone? We got an MVP of the league, and we got MVP of the finals. And we got MVP of the East, MVP of the West. Like, how many times we gonna give out an MVP award? Like, I get it. It's like you just want to give out awards, but like that goes back to the fact that everyone gets a trophy. I hated that shit when I was a kid. When they gave me a trophy just for participating, threw that shit in the trash.
Yeah, we can throw that away.
Fuck you, bro. I want that.
My twist on this was I still think that the kids should celebrate winning their region in the NCAA tournament, though. Like that whole thing is cool to me. You win your region.
That is cool. That's different. Yeah.
That's a big deal because it's a tournament. We know the NCAA tournament is a tournament within a tournament. You're trying to play to get to the Final Four tournament, right?
Correct.
Right.
So that I like, and I don't think that should ever go away.
But why do you like that one? Not.
It's a different. I think it's a. Oh, sorry.
Because
Go
the
ahead.
tradition of that is a different sort of fight to get to that point to win your region. Because and we've seen a lot of teams that's almost very satisfied with being in the Final Four. You know, like winning their region to get to the Final Four. Not the perennial, you know, blue blood teams, but you know, you're talking about some other teams like last year. 2 of them were very happy to be there. Like that was the best thing or greatest thing that ever happened to their programs.
I mean, I understand that to an extent, but in one breath, y'all just told me participation trophies don't mean anything, and the next breath, we start talking about Coach K, and we say, well, he has this many Final Four appearances. When do we start counting that? Because I'll go back to this. What we just say with LeBron, everybody wants to knock LeBron because he didn't win the finals. Why are we counting Final Four appearances for him, Magic Johnson, these people? We can't pick and choose these moments when we're gonna say, oh, it's cool because these are kids. I don't get to celebrate Ohio State losing the Final Four. I don't give a damn they lost in the Final Four at a college football championship.
Point taken.
Not celebrating for it. So we're gonna take this participation trophy. We need to
Did it last year.
because that is a participation trophy at the end of the day. Coach K, I don't care if you went to the Final Four. Did you win the championship on that year?
Yeah, because I mean, Mike, you've been. We all been there. Our teams have been there. Mike, you've seen it. I've seen it.
Yep.
Michigan got their ass kicked. Notre Dame's got their ass kicked. Ohio State's got their ass kicked in the Final Four. It sucks. I was at the fucking game. It sucks.
It's
terrible.
Like Wisconsin ruined a perfect season 10 years ago.
Right. Like, so are you really happy? Like that's
No.
where it goes back to like as Golden State Warriors, like when they lost to Cleveland that year, like they lost 73-10. Okay, cool. They were 7-3-10 or 7-3-9. 9, whatever. Yeah. But who cares?
Yeah.
They lost. They didn't win. And you can make all the excuses, but I don't know. I don't like the part. I never understood the whole cut. The one thing I don't understand, excuse me, if you want to give out the regional trophies, cool. Like I said, that's fine. Give them out. But I don't get the whole cutting down the net shit. Like the cutting down the nets is when you for the last game. Now you cut down nets everywhere. You cut down nets in the conference championship. You cut down net. It's just like, golly, man, the cutting down the nets is supposed to signify you're the last team.
Well,
at 64.
Because they might go fishing in the next round, so they got to have their equipment ready to go fishing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I suppose
I don't. I just think that's crap.
Well, honestly, I guess
What,
it's
going
that
fishing?
you're the last
Come
team.
on, man. You gotta live.
You're the last team standing in that arena, I guess. So you're cutting down the
I don't
nets
know.
because it's the last game. I don't know. I mean, there's a
So
slight
now-
difference
so
in it.
Mike, now
No,
you're
'cause
taking
it
it
up
back
the
to like
Final Four, you don't
historic
like-
times in Rome where you're the
Elite
last
Eight you are.
gladiator in the arena.
But people are cutting
Yes.
down nets in the Final Four too after they win the Elite Eight. Then they go to the Final Four. and you wanna
Yeah, the
cut
Elite
them-
8. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Elite 8. The Final Four, they don't.
Does
Yeah.
that- But did that make this any better to be in the top 8? You're 8th.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I just said. I just said that. I don't get that.
No, but,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm just saying I don't think we need a whole celebration of talking
Yeah, I
about
agree.
oh they're the regional champ. Okay, that's
Because it's a tournament within a tournament. Like the playoffs are not a tournament within a tournament. It's the NBA playoffs to win a title.
What about the NFL?
The
then?
Final Four is
If-
different.
what
No,
about
it's
the
different.
NFL?
It's not a tournament within a tournament. It's to get to the Super Bowl. I know the idea is to get to the national championship game, but it's always been marketed as a tournament within a tournament because that tournament now is the pinnacle of whatever size tournament's going to eventually be. So I've always seen it in that light. I've always really seen the NCAA tournament as 2 tournaments.
I'm gonna remember that. If Kentucky loses in the Elite Eight next year, I'm gonna bring this take back and say,
But there's a difference between me saying I'm going to be a disgruntled fan and me not having a problem with that. That's the difference. I mean, you bring a team into it personally, of course there's a difference.
I'm just saying, I'm not. If I'm even a player on the court, even if I'm sitting there and I'm in Kentucky or something, I'm like, look, man, we got more to do. I'm really at thinking go here. I don't want this is the Elite Eight. I mean, we can say a tournament time of tournament. It's a season inside of a season. So why aren't I guess
People wait a
celebrate for the individual?
moment. A lifetime for a moment like this, my brother.
I just don't get it. I don't get the whole. I just never have. I've always said this. I've said it my whole life. I just don't understand. I'm like, I remember asking my dad, like, why are they giving out a trophy? And like, why are they so celebrating? Did they win the World Series? And like, or did they win the Stanley Cup? And he's like, no, they won the Eastern Conference. I'm like, what are they celebrating then? Like, I've always been like that. I just don't understand it.
Party, bro.
Like, if you want to win, if you want to do something for your conference title, like the conference title, the conference championship game, that's an actual tournament. You're playing a separate tournament, right? That's a different tournament. To your point. So, kind of understand that because you won your conference, right?
Right.
But I don't understand the whole like regional. I don't understand the whole let's Let's have Ernie on the court talking to Bam and Jimmy and Eric Spoelstra and ask them questions where he's going to get a short answer. And Ernie just sits there like, all right, see you later. So I don't understand that. I'm in agreement with you, Trey. Is it time? It's time for Stump the Squad.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Stump the Squad this week. You know we're at our favorite point in the show. This is Stump the Squad. Winner gets the rant of the week. We ask each other questions. You get it right, you get 2 points. You get it wrong, you get -2 points. Yeah, we know everything, but we just kind of make you guys feel better about yourselves. If you want to play along, play along. This week, I'd like to see the guy at the bottom there with the big Ohio State flag lead us off and try to stump us.
Okay, so we're talking NBA Finals today, but specifically, we're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets because the Miami have been here plenty of times. So, shout out to them, but let's talk about history. So, the Denver Nuggets, originally their name, and the main people may not notice, was the Denver Rockets. But what year did they officially become the Denver Nuggets? 1972, 1973, 1974, or 1975?
1973.
We're going 1973 for Jay.
74.
We're going 1974 for John.
Damn, those were the top two in my mind. I'll go 72.
1972. Okay.
They all got sevens in them, so.
Okay, so we have a 73 for Jay, 74 for John, and a 72 for Mike.
Yep.
Okay, so today we have successfully stumped Mike and Jamie.
No.
So in 1974, they officially became the Denver Rockets. The reason they became the Denver Rockets, they were originally
the Nuggets. They became the Nuggets.
I'm sorry, they became the Denver Nuggets. They were originally the Rockets, but when they were leaving the ABA, the Houston Rockets already existed in the NBA, but the NBA said you have to change your name. Thus, they became the Nuggets because of the mountains.
Right.
And that's where they became the Denver Nuggets.
I don't know why I thought it was 73.
Existed. But yeah, 1974. Oh, you actually had a kind of a foot on this. Okay, so we're going to go with, let's see what John has next.
All righty. So I have a hockey question. Let me get the points ready. So what team advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals in 68, 69, and 70, but lost all three? Was it the Canadiens, the Blackhawks, the Blues, or the Rangers?
I'm going Canadiens.
Trey going Canadiens.
Blackhawks.
Jamie Blackhawks.
Is this to spite me?
Mike?
Is this to spite me?
Okay, so we got Canadians, Rangers, Blackhawks, and who?
Blues. Who weren't even the St. Louis Blues there, weren't they? I don't know. They were then.
They were.
So what?
They were an expansion team.
Yeah.
What year did they come into the league?
Come on. 3, 2.
It's the Blues.
The first time we've all had different answers to start.
I have successfully stumped Trey and Jamie. It is the St. Louis Blues.
With Glenn Hall and goal.
Out of it.
Damn it. Try to freaking stump him.
Mr. Hockey. Or Mr. Goalie, I should say. Glenn Hall.
Jamie starts again into a -4.
Rough out here.
Being a rough week in my best of the week, being a rough last couple of weeks.
About Jay, about that participation.
I thought I really had that Denver question right because I heard so many comments about since they became the Nuggets in 73, but damn it, Trey. All right, so we all know LeBron's lost the most game in the NBA Finals. I want you guys to tell me, out of these 4 players, who has lost the most games in the NBA Finals? Larry Bird, James Worthy, Richard Jefferson, or Andre Iguodala? Which one of those 4 players has lost the most games in the NBA Finals? Larry Bird, James Worthy, Richard Jefferson, or Andre Iguodala?
Richard Jefferson.
I'm going to go Worthy.
Yeah, I was going to go Worthy too.
Gentlemen, I've successfully stumped Mikey Mike. Worthy has 18 losses. Iguodala has 17. Jefferson has 15. And Bird has 15.
So I'm out.
Wow. No.
Yes.
No,
How?
I don't think so. Well, Josh keep score.
Because you're on
0.
-2.
No, I'm on -2.
Yep.
John's on 4.
Yep.
No, okay, yeah.
So it's between Trey and John.
Uh-huh.
John, you're muted.
Because he's counting.
Okay.
Score.
Jamie at -4.
Thank you.
Me at 4. Trey at 0. Mike at 0. And it's time for
How
Mike.
Mike's at -2, I thought.
How am I at 0? I should be at -2.
Well,
You
you
got
got the
two-
first question. You got the first
Two
question
wrong,
wrong.
one right.
Wrong. So I'm back to -2. Got it right up to 0. Wrong.
That's
Oh,
-2.
-2. Sorry. Yeah, -2. Sorry.
So it's between Trey and Mr. Sawyer.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotta get one right this
We
week.
return to the ice.
you got your question right.
Fuck off.
We return to the ice. Jamie, hopefully you can get this one. How many NHL teams have gone down 3-0 in Stanley Cup playoff history?
I know this.
Is it 204, 206, 208, or 210?
How many teams have gone down 3-0?
How many in
playoffs?
the history of the Stanley Cup playoffs? How many
Okay.
teams have gone down 3-0 in a series? Any series.
Okay, so
208.
okay.
That's why
Say
it's
it
so
again?
high.
4, 6, 8, 10. That's your
Yeah,
options.
in the 200s, 4, 6, 8, or 10.
208.
4, 6, 206.
Okay. Trey says 208. John says 206. Jamie?
Fuck it. 210.
Jamie says 210. So we got a 6, an 8, and a 10.
You stumped everyone.
Today I have successfully stumped the squad.
Yeah.
204.
Damn.
Yep.
I mean, damn, you win.
The John
I
Williams.
win.
Yeah.
Woo!
John, you're on a
Back it,
streak.
Let's go. I'm
Ding,
winning.
ding, 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 ding. John is our
We gotta get a bell. We gotta get a bell or sound effect.
episode 61 champion.
I am week 61 champion, and my rant of the week goes to, and you would have thought it, my Miami Heat.
Of course.
Shout out to the Heat. They have dominated the playoffs so far and shown why they were the 1 seed last year. Made minor adjustments and getting like a Kevin Love and his experience. And I think that experience is more ultimately, like knowledge instead of skill on the court. But shout out to Eric Spoelstra. That's my rant of the week. Eric Spoelstra is such an underrated coach, and I think he's getting more in the limelight now as his tenure grows and grows. But shout out to him because he continues to work with players and 8 undrafted players and gets them ready for games and continues to earn the respect of top caliber players and that type of aspect. So it's really awesome to see him continue to coach these guys at a high level and them respect him enough. Like Jimmy and Bam respect him and say, you know what, he knows what he's doing. And that shows a lot of admiration for him. And shout out to the Heat for continuing to dominate. And hopefully we can get this dub in the NBA Finals so I can change out this hat for a championship hat because these hats are pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. So that's my rant of the week. Let's go Heat.
Bro, there's really not that many coaches. If you think of it, Phil Jackson 6 times in 10 years with the Bulls. This is Spoelstra 6 times in 12 years. With the Heat. You can't name that many coaches out there that have had in a span of decades or a certain time frame being there more than half. Pop was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, probably 5 times in 10 years, I think.
Pat Riley.
Pat
Yeah,
Riley.
Red Auerbach.
Pat Riley has been due. They said he's been to 20. So fun fact. Hold on. Fun fact. Pat Riley's been to 24.7% of all NBA finals.
That is meaning as a GM coach or
GM, coach, and player.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. I saw that stat yesterday. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Pat also won a national championship with the university.
Oh my God.
Not a regional champ. A real.
He got to cut down the nets.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Any final thoughts before we head into the weekend?
Let's go Yankees, please.
All right, we got just great weekend stacked up. We got game 1 of the Stanley Cup, and then we got the Manchester Derby, and then we have game 2 of the NBA Finals. It's going to be a fun weekend of sports.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a great weekend. We're going to be back here for episode 62 next week. Can't wait. We're in June. We're having a great time. Make sure you subscribe on all social platforms. We'll put it here at the bottom, and we'll see you guys here next week. Have a great weekend.